Niro PHEV SX. And to be fair, I don't think we've ever done the SX version of this car. And this is gonna be a fun one because it might be your car. We'll talk about what that means in a second. So first of all, here we do a live video like this every single weekday at 2 o'clock Eastern time. You can join us. I'll show you how to do that in a second. If you're not live with us, feel free to skip ahead to the 3-minute mark. We just let our live audience jump in the first few minutes, and then we get going with the content at 3 minutes. So let's jump over here. I'll show you how to join us, and we'll talk about how it could be your car. Like literally, this might be exactly your car. All right. There's the car right there. We're going to get to this in a second. Let's just jump over to here. If you want to join us on our live video feed, you go to our YouTube channel, which is called the Kia Hyundai channel, and you go to that exactly 2 o'clock on a weekday, which is what we're doing right now. Refresh the page or just land there on time, and you'll see the live video is right there as the first video. Now, we'll click that. We'll probably have to watch an ad for something interesting. I don't know what that's for. Oh, Final Fantasy something. Okay, sounds fantastic. Oh, and a G-pad. I'm okay if you want to buy that. My wife thinks that's cool. All right, moving on from there, skip the ad. All right, there we go. You can see I've got your comments in the side right there. That's to help me out, and I've got them on the big screen. I'm gonna blow them up a little bit just so I can see them over here on the big screen so that I can see them throughout the video. All right, so let's talk news really quickly. Got about a minute and a half to kill here. Kia Carnival, I'm hoping next week. Hyundai Tucson, all new redesigned model. I'm hoping this month. Maybe. End of the month, maybe. We'll see. And what else is going? There's a Santa Cruz from Hyundai that's going to be announced at least online, so we'll have some sort of coverage of that. Somebody says, where's Teddy? I left him in the other room. I guess I should get him. Well, maybe we'll get him later in the video. If anybody's paying attention out there, which I don't think anybody is, they can get Teddy for me. What else is going on? Santa Cruz, Tucson, Carnival, Stinger. We're going to get an Ascot green Stinger in. Somebody just bought one of those, so it's coming in. When we have that, we'll show you the color. Have a red interior. I'm going to show you that early next week as well. And Hyundai-wise, we've got a lot to go on. Review the Hyundai Kona. We did do the Kona versus the Celto, so we're going to keep away from that probably next week, but I definitely will come back to a lot of those cars, do them individually, do a whole lot more with them in the future. So definitely lots more coming up that way. Just keep in mind, we just started with the Hyundai product just basically this week. So we're going to try to sort of mix in a lot of product, and then we'll start going really in depth with some of the stuff. So feel free to continue to suggest that Hyundai product. Obviously, Kia product we still are going to do as well. And just so you know, if you're supporting us, do me a favor, support the dealers that support us. It's Brantford Kia, that's the studio we film out of, the Brantford Kia studio. Brantford Hyundai gives us our vehicles, and Owen Sound Hyundai is also one of our partners. They tend to be my most commonly used contacts for just some information on the vehicles when I need quick help for someone to go take a look at a vehicle. So that's what's going on, and we're at the 3-minute mark, so here we go. Will you have anything on the Santa Cruz when it comes out? Yes, absolutely. First of all, when the vehicle comes out, we're going to cover it more than anybody, I promise. It'll be super in-depth, but the announcement's coming next week, and we'll cover that as well. All right, so here we go. PHEV. I did an Instagram poll this morning, and I said, how much do you really know about PHEVs? And it started out with about 80% saying not a whole lot, and 20% saying quite a bit, and it closed closer to 50% or so on my Instagram of you guys knowing what it is. So here's what we're going to do in this video. We're going to talk about what is a PHEV. We've done this before. There are consistently some misconceptions, so if you've seen me do this spiel before, I'm going to say it again because I continue to try to fight some of the misconceptions about these vehicles. So we're going to talk about what it is. We're going to show you this exact vehicle. We're going to go through it. We're going to talk about the government rebates on this vehicle, why it might be a little bit less expensive than you think it is, and we're going to go really in-depth in this vehicle. So it's about 4 minutes into our video. We're going to go 30 minutes. Beyond the 30-minute mark, if this video is longer than that, relax. We've just gone on to off topic at that point, or you guys are asking a lot of questions and we'll just continue with that. So, plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. You can identify the Niro specifically because it has what looks like a gas door at the front and the gas door at the back. That one is the gas door. This one is an electric door. So we talked about a hybrid yesterday. We had the Santa Fe hybrid in here yesterday, and we talked about what a hybrid is. So let's just review again really quickly what a hybrid is. A hybrid has a gasoline engine and an electric motor, a battery usually in the back, and the hybrid itself never has to be plugged in. As the car is coasting or braking, it's going to charge a battery. Also, when the engine runs, it's going to charge a battery. And so the hybrid is, somebody asked what a PHEV is. I will get to that in just 1 second. So a hybrid, again, gives you some electric power as an assist. It can run short stints, a couple hundred meters at a time on pure electric, but generally speaking, it's going to blend the gas and electric. And the big advantage of a regular hybrid is it's going to save you a bunch of fuel. A PHEV is a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. So PHEV, plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. There you go. So a plug-in hybrid adds this little port right here. And essentially it's the same exact thing, but it has a bigger battery. That bigger battery gives you some pure electric range. And in the case of this car, we're going to show you in a few minutes, or in a minute or so, it's about 40-ish kilometers. Last I checked, this car read 41 kilometers of pure electric range. So that 41 kilometers is purely electric, and then when you run out of that, it switches to, a lot of people would say, a gasoline car. That's incorrect. So one of the big misconceptions is it does not switch to a gasoline car when you've run out of that plug-in charge. It switches to the regular hybrid. So it's going to continue to blend gasoline and electric. It just loses the ability to run, for instance, up to 40 kilometers of pure electric. It might still do a couple hundred meters at a time on electric as it charges and discharges on its own. So it's basically a hybrid, but better. It's going to get you better real-world mileage, and we'll talk about real-world mileage in a second. Now, let's talk about charging. We'll cover this all quickly, and then we'll go through the car. We mentioned the charge port right here. A lot of people with electric vehicles will install something similar to this. This is a level 2 charger. If you have an electric vehicle, I recommend this. I happen to have an electric vehicle, and I don't use this. What do I use? Well, I'll show you right here. On a PHEV, I don't recommend that you get a level 2 charger. That's an option for you to charge this car faster. What I use with my actual EV is right here. It's the exact same thing, but instead of being a high voltage charger, it just plugs into the wall just like you would plug in your cell phone, and it charges the car slower. Now, why would you want to charge the car slower? Because on something like a PHEV, as long as you have gasoline, you can go anywhere you want. Same as you would in a regular gasoline car. So, if you have a stage 1 or level 1 charger, what that means is you plug it into the regular wall outlet like you see on the wall over there. I don't know if you can see it. Can we zoom in? Right there, just a regular wall outlet. If you have one of those in your garage or in your house or near your house, that's all you need to give yourself electric only range. Takes about 9 hours when you plug it in the wall to go that full 41 kilometers of range, which is pretty good when you consider that like a little electric, remote control car. It's going to take a couple hours to charge that thing anyways. So 9 hours if you charge from the plug in the wall to there. Now again, if you're completely flat out of charge, you just drive it like a normal hybrid car. You don't need to have it plugged in. It just gives you that electric range. Over here, if you have a level 2 charger, now you're down to about 2 to 3 hours. And that's how I charged it this morning from flat empty. It took about 2.5 hours. So that's 2 to 3 hours is a very accurate thing. This charger here is slightly faster than the charger I did on the one on the outside. So it depends on some of the chargers. But that's how it works. So all of the boring information is out of the way. Why do you want a PHEV? Well, a hybrid on its own, great for emissions, great for efficiency, and if you just have a plain hybrid, there's no real compromise. You just get in, hit the start button, drive it away, put in gear and go. You can drive across the country, you never have to charge. Plug-in hybrid is the exact same thing. You can drive across the country, you never have to charge. The difference with a plug-in hybrid is most of us, a lot of our trips are 40 kilometers and less. If you do 40 kilometers and less, you can do those in many cases, and we'll talk about when you can't, in many cases on pure electric range alone, and that really appeals to people. The other thing is, if you go 100 kilometers a day, it's still a great idea because 40 of those kilometers can be purely electric, and the rest is ultra efficient hybrid, and it's an even better hybrid than our regular hybrid. So you're already saving fuel. Now, one more reason to get these, let's just show you the pricing of these cars. Come down here. We have 2 levels for 2020. Now this is 2020 in the website because they don't have 2021s up yet. The car I have today is a 2021. And so these ones are EX Premium and SX Touring. There's an actual, I think there's an EX in the middle. There's a third trim now for 2021. But today we're looking at the top of the line one. It retails in 2020 for $38,695, and it's the same basic car for 2021. So $38,695. But the Canadian government will give you, well, there's a $2,500 credit or rebate. You can talk to our sales team about exactly how that works, but it's $2,500. So if you buy an EV, $5,000 government rebate. A PHEV, plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, is $2,500 rebate. So that brings the car a little bit more in line with the regular cars. Now let's hop in and we'll show you some of the features. And I want to talk about when you're using the electric, when you're not. I've seen a couple good comments in here, just so you guys know. A couple of the people commenting on this video own PHEVs, and I'm going to refer to some of their comments as well. I have an idea who some of them are. And one thing I forgot to mention, this is what we were talking about. Apparently, somebody who watches our videos, a fan of our videos, this is your car. This is literally your VIN number, your car. Now, I have to be careful because I was going to just leave it at that and have someone get really excited, but someone reached out to me. So if you are Grant's customer, this is not your car. Yours is coming very soon. If you're Garth's customer, he thought it would be fun for you to find out on the video that your car has finally arrived. So I was supposed to do that earlier in the video, but I'm sure you're still watching. So fans of our video, I'm not going to tell you I'm not going to say the name because you know who you are. If you are Garth's customer, this is your car. If you are Grant's customer, your car just like this is coming in soon. So we sell a lot of these here at Brantford Kia. Same thing with the Hyundai stores that we support. Real big EV, PHEV advocates here. All right, so I'm going to jump in here. We're going to show you this car in general. All those nice features, leather seats, powered seats. You get the memory seats in the SX model here. We're going to skip by some of that. We're going to stay on the technology and then come back to just the car stuff. So one of the things I love about this car, first of all, normally when I'm indoors, I do not put my foot on the brake when I start the car because it starts the engine. Now in this car, I am confident the engine will not start because screen you get, and you can see the top left, I says EV up there, and there's your range right now. So this is about a I think it's a 42-liter tank. I'll have to double check that, guys. I think it's a 42-liter tank, 45-liter tank, somewhere in that range. And you can see 818 kilometers of range. Now, again, this car only has 12 kilometers on it, but the idea is, it'll start to predict, and that is a real-world range, and people have stretched it even farther than that. And keep in mind, if I only drove, let's say, 35 kilometers today and plugged it back in and drove 28 kilometers tomorrow and another 35 tomorrow, I'm not going to use that fuel, and I can actually get a lot more range. So that's one of the benefits with a PHEV is you get that real world range because you can do that. Now, let's just talk really briefly about the gasoline engine. We're going to just cover a couple of things here. If you are in the winter, the gasoline engine is what creates your heat. Now, you have heated seats, heated steering wheel. We'll show you those in this video as well. It's going to run the engine more in the winter. That's okay. If you want a car that never runs the gasoline engine, buy an electric vehicle. This car is designed to run the gasoline engine. It moves through the fuel that it needs to in there. And the way to think about it is this. This car at any moment may need to start the gasoline engine. So it needs to make sure that that gasoline engine in the winter especially is warmed up and ready to start just like that. So that gasoline engine is going to run a little bit more in the winter to make sure it's ready to start immediately, also to give you heat, also to just move through the fuel that's in that system. Most of the time, 3 seasons of the year, you can run it purely on the electric mode, and you can choose just the electric mode, and it will not run the gasoline engine. Every now and then, it will choose to run the gasoline engine, even if you have some electric range, and that's fine. The car is going to help make some decisions. Again, if you want pure electric range all the time, buy an electric car. This car is designed to take care of itself a little bit. What we found, though, is a lot of our customers, some of the people, depending on how they drive, are able to get 2 to 3 liters per 100 kilometers on average because they're using so much electric. We've seen people in the ones because they drive so much electric. But the point is, real-world mileage is going to be different because it doesn't matter what the sticker says about the mileage. Like I said, if you're doing 20 and 30 kilometer trips and purely on electric, you're not using any fuel at all, and you can really extend that thing. So the only downside to hybrid vehicles is the higher monthly payments. Yeah, it's a little bit more expensive, although yesterday we saw in that Santa Fe, that price point is pretty close. And again, you get $2,500 rebate on this car for the PHEV, so you're pretty close to the regular SX Niro. All right, so taking a look in here, I want to show you a couple things about the gauges here. So what you have here, this blue and, the comments that are coming in are blocking my view here. Okay, you have this blue area here and the white area there. So the blue area here is your fuel gauge for your battery. It tells you how charged your battery is. And you can see In this particular case, I'm at, whoa, sorry about that, 98% battery life on this car, which is about 41 kilometers. So let me come back over real slowly. Sorry for the poor camera work, but I want to keep it zoomed in here. So that blue battery is think of it as the plug-in battery. What that does is when you run out of that, then you're going to switch to that hybrid mode. That white part of the battery is not just like the low battery. That is your hybrid battery itself. So remember what I said. When you run out, whoa, white balance issues. When you run out of that plugged in range, you still have the car going to go a couple hundred meters at a time of charging and discharging in that hybrid only battery. And that gets really good mileage compared to a regular car. It's not just a gasoline engine. And that is that white battery. So you'll see that white battery move up and down as the blue battery disappears. Up above that charge, eco, and power, you'll see a little bar graph come in here when we put it in drive. I don't know if it'll work until I put it in drive. Yeah, it won't work until I actually move. So you'll see a bar graph coming there, and it'll tell you if you're driving the eco range. If you're charging, it'll show you how much you're charging, and if you're in a power mode or really giving a lot of gas, it'll go in the power mode. You can see that EV badge there. The EV tells you the car is running on electric vehicle. Sometimes the gasoline engine will be running, and you'll still see the EV. And what that basically means is that even though the engine's running, it's not going to the wheels. And the signal above that is because this car makes no noise, doesn't have an engine that starts all the time, that symbol on the top green car there with the arrows underneath tells you that this car is good to drive, it's good to go. That's the symbol they use. Now, some cool things in here. You got a tachometer on the left side here, which you don't always have on hybrids, or sorry, on the right side there. Fuel gauge and speedometer over there. All right, so we're just gonna go through the tech right now for a second, and then I'm gonna jump back out. We'll show you the rest of the car in a minute. This is sort of your hybrid gauges. This is all sort of the nerd stuff here, but it gives you an idea. You've got 41 kilometers of range. The nearest charger is 1.2 kilometers away, so it tells you where the chargers are, and you can use other apps on your phone as well for that. What's not filming very well is this is a blue color. I don't know if I can get it to adjust or white balance. Yeah, I don't know if it's a bluey greeny color, it's kind of washing out. But that battery is a very blue color. Yeah, there we go. Blue color there, blue color there. So there is some color here. Charge management, you can set up when to charge if you want. And eco driving, energy flow, you can sort of see how your driving's been going. This is a really good gauge as well. The electric motor can run the wheels. You'll see a little diagram flowing power from there. If you're charging, it'll flow back into the battery, from the motor into the battery, and it'll tell you what's powering. So there's a little flow graph here. I don't think it'll work if I go in drive. Let's see if I go forward. Nope, it's not going to be enough. I got to go a little faster. So the idea is that gauge there will tell you exactly where the power is going. All of this is kind of nerdy information, which I'm into, and you may not be. And if you're not into this kind of stuff, you're going to leave it here, and you're going to let this do it on its own. You've got right here, you've got your navigation in there. This is also Android Auto and Apple CarPlay compatible, so you've got those in there as well. Climate change, oh boy. Climate system is down here. The auto climate control, so it's just set it to auto. It's got a driver only mode, which on a PHEV or a hybrid makes some sense, because what that can do is cut the vents out on the opposite side of the car. It allows power only to the driver, or vents only to the driver, and it can keep it running a little bit longer on just electric alone, whereas on the EV it doesn't save you a ton of range. Coming down here, USB ports, that's where you plug in your Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, another USB there, 12 volt on this side. You've got a wireless charger down here for your cell phone. This button here, the EV or EV HEV. If you hit that button, you can cycle between putting it on the EV only mode or the hybrid electric vehicle only mode. So what that means essentially is we're about 100 kilometers from downtown Toronto. Downtown Toronto is known to have poor traffic. So what you can do is you can save that 41 kilometers, what we have right now, of electric range, save it for when you get to Toronto. So I can drive through here on the highways, then I start going through Toronto, let's say in the less efficient area, and what you're going to do there is put it in EV mode there, and you're going to save the most fuel because it's efficient while you're driving at speed, and it's less efficient when you're driving in the city. What we're going to do now is we're going to stop for a second. I'm going to see some questions. I see Greg's been answering some questions for me. He's one of our PHEV buyers, or owners anyways. We'll go through your questions there, and then we'll come back here. So let me just jump out for a second. We'll come back to the car. We'll get your questions. All right. Coming on over to my computer. Do me a favor, guys. PHEV videos, don't perform really well with the regular crowd, but I think we do well selling cars with them. But if you could just hit that like button, it really helps me out, helps our dealership out. I get paid because our dealerships sell these cars. So I can make these videos because we sell. So I know not everybody's local, but the more likes we get, the more chance we have to sell these cars. And that means the more videos I get to make. The better the dealership does, the more time they dedicate for me to make videos. That's basically how it works. All right, let me just see your questions here. If there's anything I missed, feel free to ask it again. Charge overnight. Okay, hold on. Does anyone know how much of an increase in your hydro? Okay, so here's one thing that's kind of interesting for me. I bought my purely electric vehicle. So that's all electric vehicle. We've got about 20,000 kilometers on that. I've had it just over a year and a bit. My electric bill, we bought it when we moved, so I can't compare to the old house. My electric bills at my house are $100 a month, including my electricity on my car. The math I've done, you can do math a whole bunch of different ways. I have a pickup truck as well. I know what you're thinking, efficiency. The pickup truck does a good job of towing our tent trailer or our camping trailer. We have a hard-sided trailer. It's 1/10 the fuel use of my pickup truck is about the cost we figured out at one point. So, 700 or 700 kilometers, 100, I don't know how it was, but 1/10 the fuel use. It's basically $7 was $70 is basically the catch on that. So $7 electricity versus $70 of fuel. It's very, very efficient, and most people who drive a PHEV or an EV spend zero time thinking about the electrical cost because it's so little compared to gasoline. Okay. Is Kia keeping... Okay, we'll talk about the color off-topic stuff at about the 30-minute mark. Let's see if we can stay on topic for this, and I'll get to the other questions off-topic at about 30-minute mark. So you can ask them, but I will come back to them. Instead of rebate Saskatchewan EVs, yeah, Saskatchewan's doing some strange things. The only downside to hybrid vehicles is the higher monthly payments. Yeah, we talked about that. Does it matter how many amps of service is going to the wall? Yes, but no. So if you have a level 2 charger, we have a 40 amp and a 30 amp charger here. I believe this is as much as a 50 amp charger. This is a faster charging than a 40 amp or 30 amp, and that's also why it's a faster charging than the plug on the wall there. So if you get a level 2 charger, the faster you get it, the quicker it's going to go. Although to be fair, with a PHEV, I'm not sure how much it can handle off the top of my head. So you might only need a 30 amp charger. It's not, charging times are not something people worry about too much with these cars because you're never stranded. It just, most of the time you park plenty to get all the range you need. That seems to be what we find. So just go back to the questions here. I see a lot of these questions are sort of being answered, so I don't have to jump in other than to agree. Easiest way to price the hydro is look at your kilowatt hour per 100 kilometers, about 2 cents per kilometer times the kilometers you drive, a few dollars a month. Yeah, okay. In Canada, it draws 12 amp and 115. Yeah, there we go. See, you guys know this stuff off the top of your head better than I do. Okay, so there we go. Got a couple of commenters in there that are really good at helping me out. They know the technical science stuff far better than I do. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back through this car. I want to show you the rear seat space, the trunk space, because sometimes there's some compromises in an EV that you don't really have in this car, but we'll show you some of those things there, and we'll go from there. All right, let me flip around here. Rear seat space in a Kia Niro electric vehicle is a little bit more limited because the floor is raised because there's a battery underneath the floor on the electric vehicle. On the PHEV, the battery's underneath the trunk, so we're going to show you that. Oh, yeah. Leroy's asking a really good question. What is hydro? In Canada, we call electricity the hydro company, because we are hydroelectrically powered for a lot of us, especially those of us living near Niagara Falls, like myself, or relatively near. So we tend to interchange the hydro versus the electric bill. So the hydro bill, the electric bill, same thing. So kind of funny. I didn't pick up on that because I forgot that the rest of the world doesn't do that. Anyways, floor space in the trunk, or in the rear seat here. In the EV, you have a raised floor because there's a battery underneath the car. Over here, this is the battery in the trunk. We're going to show you, you do lose some underfloor storage space in the trunk, but you gain it back here compared to an EV. So I'm going to jump in here. I'm sitting basically behind myself. Actually, I think the seat's actually too far back for me right now. I was using it. Yeah, it is definitely too far back. I was filming and I just set the seat back further. Really good headroom in the Niro. The other thing about Niro is with the seats down, the cargo space in here, competes with far larger vehicles. It's a very, very practical vehicle. It is front-wheel drive, not all-wheel drive, but it is still a crossover vehicle, and you get that good space in there. So you can see, you've seen me in other cars, not a ton of headspace, a lot in here. I'm about 6 feet tall. My legs are flat on the seat. In the EV, my legs are a little bit more raised, and you're a little bit less comfortable because of that raised floor. So you have a better rear seat here. The SX model adds a few features that I haven't even talked about yet. Has a sunroof right here, has the ventilated front seats, it has heated rear seats. So I can show you that right here. 2 seats, oh, the car's off, but yeah, those 2 little lights there, 2 levels of seat heating in the rear here. Coming back through here, you've got vents back here and a regular outlet if you're charging your laptop or some other device back here. So you also get on the SX model, the pocket here. On the EX model, you only have the pocket on the one side. So a few extra features in this car that make it really nice. With these leather seats, ventilated seats are kind of nice in the hot summer. You do have the nice big 10.25-inch screen, sunroof, ventilated and heated seats. The heated seats in the rear as well make a big difference. So rear seat comfort, very good. A lot of that is due to, again, the floors being sort of normal, the way this vehicle is designed. You also have LED lights front and rear, which you don't have on the other lower trim model. Underfloor space is where you're losing on this car. So PHEV compared to any other Niro is this area right here is normally curved out, and this time it's curved in. That's because there's a 12-volt car battery in here. I'll open it up for you. Maybe I shouldn't do this on somebody else's brand new car. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it. I can do it with my right hand, but I don't wanna break anything. There is a 12-volt battery underneath there, just the same as you have in a regular car, and that eats into a tiny bit of space that would be open there. It kind of bumps out the other way. So concave instead of convex, or convex instead of concave. And then you have the cover here, which can be pulled out. So the blind, the cargo cover, that comes like that. You can take that out. In our regular Niro and our Niro EV, you can store that blind right underneath here at the back of the car there. So you can see where I am here. The back of the car lifts up. This one, it can't be stored because you have the area right here. Oh yes, the SX Touring has a great sound system, and that's to be fair as well. There's a Harman Kardon sound system in this car as well. That's the extra feature. So again, moving up, if you like a little bit more of the luxury features, it is something I recommend. If you just want the efficiency, you can cut some of those things out. Same basic efficiency. So again, you can't put that cargo blind, this one here, underneath there. That's one of the compromises you're going to make with a PHEV that you could do on every other Niro, including the Niro EV. Over here, there's that extra speaker as well, which is in that Harman Kardon sound system. So let's shut this down. Somebody said something about the digital dash. You do get that on the PHEV, the EX, as well. So that digital dash that we saw is one of the best dashes we do. You get that in this car. Just want to show you headlights here, and we'll do that. If I get to the start button, I got to make sure I got the key in my pocket. I got to climb in the car. There we go. Headlights on this car are the LED headlights. So we're going to take a look here, and it would help if I turned them on. Why didn't it turn on? Oh, you know what? There we go. I didn't hit the button far enough. There we go. So LED lights tend to flicker, and oh, they're off. That's fine. So oh, yep, they're there. They're flickering right there. So they're not flickering in real life. They just flicker on camera. But when you're driving down the road, those are the white lights you're going to see coming at you. They look yellow in the camera. It's just because the camera has trouble with these lights. Up top, really sharp cutoff headlights and really nice, bright fog lights that on this car are the white LED ones, not the incandescent ones. Previous Niro EV buyers had LED headlights, but they did not have the LED fog lights. This looks kind of yellowy in the camera, but that's a nice white clear color. So you do get that. And then you have the nice signal lights, which are LED, which is that wrapping around right there. So it's a big step up with those LED lights. I recommend that as much as you can, if it makes sense to go there. And then, of course, you have the LED rear lights as well, which get brighter, and you have areas that fill in. The yellow signals from the previous generation are gone, but there's still separate signals in here. So still have separate signals in there. The signal lights are not LED, but everything else is. So there we go. Believe the Soul also has PHEV? It does not. So if you want a PHEV in the Kia lineup, at this point, it's just the Niro. Now, of course, we do the Hyundai Kia channel here. The PHEVs are moving their way throughout both of those lineups, both those vehicles. We'll talk about them more in the future. All right, I'm going to go through if there's any questions I missed, anything at all. Again, still do me a favor. Like I said, these PHEV videos, they just appeal to a smaller market. So anytime we can get likes on these, it's really helpful. Helps us with these cars, and it helps us do more information on them. If we can have well-performing vehicles or well-performing videos, we'll do more videos on them. Okay, let's just see. Somebody think? Four-spoke steering wheel is nice. Some people are talking about steering wheel. Okay. I can see them edging the dash, but I doubt they're going to change the exhausts. You guys talking about a louder exhaust on this car? They're never going to do that. They always hide stuff. The exhaust. Oh, we're talking about the Telluride. Oh, okay. How does a 12-volt battery get charged? So that's a good question. How does a 12-volt battery get charged? Same way every other 12-volt battery gets charged, if the vehicle's driving. So even if you just drive on electric alone, it's going to take care of that 12-volt battery. The same way. The fun fact actually is the only car that doesn't have the 12-volt battery is the Niro hybrid. Even all of our EVs still have a 12-volt battery. So they're always charging. You don't have to really worry about that too much. It works the same way as it would on any other car. That was a good question. I'm a little confused. Some guys are talking about the Telluride on here. So if there's a specific question to the PHEV, those of you that are sort of staying on topic, I'll go off topic in a second here. But if there's any more on-topic questions that I missed, please just ask them again below, and I'll grab them, and then we'll go off topic, because there's a few questions there that obviously some people are looking for some answers for, and I'll jump back on that. I don't see anything there. What do we got? Okay, sorry, bear with me, guys. Just a couple Telluride questions in there that kind of threw me off, and I can't find if there's any questions that I missed on the actual vehicle. Okay. So we talked about the mileage. Yeah, okay. Niro PHEV looks nice. I think we're going to leave it there. All right, couple off-topic questions. Fun fact, some cars have DVD players. Okay, that's great. You're causing trouble. No, you guys aren't causing trouble. It's just, so here's how this works. Normally, if you can hang on till the 30-minute mark and you go off topic then it's way easier for me to answer them. It's hard for me to find the questions when we go off topic early, so we do it. Is it comfortable? Super comfortable. This is a really comfortable car. So here's why people like the Niro. Let me just go through why people like the Niro as well. It is not one of our standout designs. Sometimes we have a little bit more radical designs. It kind of blends in. Some people quite like that. The real strength of the Niro is it has a comfortable seating position. It's the right size. If you want a larger SUV or you want a large SUV on the inside, but sometimes the larger SUVs are a little too big to drive around, a lot of people get in, they find this very easy to drive, easy to park, comfortable size. When you fold the seats down especially, the volume of cargo is very, very good. So that makes it really practical to have. And of course, efficiency. Every single Niro is at least a hybrid or an EV or a PHEV, and these are really good efficiency. Now, Niro SX, the hybrid, and the Niro SX, the EV, they do have larger wheels. Larger wheels usually hurt efficiency. This isn't going to hurt efficiency. They keep the smaller wheels on the SX. It's the only SX model with the 16-inch wheels. Every other SX has 17-inch wheels. So that's another little slight difference here. So there we go. Somebody says they like the comfortable seats. There we go. All right. Does the Telluride have a rear seat entertainment system on the Kia US website? It's a $1,500 option. I don't think so. I'll have to double check. We don't have it in Canada for sure, but I don't think that's even an accessory. I would say most comfortable car I have ever owned with all the driving and safety features. That's what Greg says. He owns this car. So yeah, very comfortable car. And that tends to be common with these Niro owners. They really like it. Had an EV version of this vehicle for 1 year and 6 foot, 330 pounds. And I was very comfortable. It has tons of room inside, even though it's compact. Maybe our best car I've ever had. So there we go. Yeah, so again, people are buying these cars because they're comfortable. Versatile storage and amazing fuel efficiency, charging electric battery each day, gets about 900 kilometers per tank of gas. So those are the extreme cases we see, but that's real world stuff. People are getting, I've heard some people, well, 900 I think is one of the furthest ones, but I've heard many people, 900 kilometers a tank of gas. Yeah, I've heard many people into the thousands of kilometers on a single tank of gas. We do recommend going through the fuel a little bit more often than that, but yeah, the point is, you're going to save a lot of fuel on this. If you want to drive purely on EV, buy an EV. This car is designed to run that gasoline engine. It does that, and it gets great fuel efficiency while it does. So there we go. I think we're going to leave it there, guys. We're 33 minutes in. We've covered this car. And just so you guys know, next week coming up, I have a 2-year-old base model hybrid. Love it. Just wish the boot was an inch longer. So is it more comfortable than the Sportage? I can't judge comfort for you. I can say that they are similar size points. It is the kind of thing you're going to want to sit in and decide for yourself. Compared to the Sportage, it's considerably better fuel efficiency. That's obviously the big thing. So cost of ownership over a long period of time, depending on how much driving you do, it may cost you less to get this one than the Sportage. But comfort-wise, I would say it's similar. But for sure, try it out yourself. All right, we're going to leave it there, guys. Next week, we got a lot more Hyundai stuff coming up, a lot more Kia stuff coming up. Like I said, we're going to show you the red interior of the new Stinger. We're going to show you, hopefully, the Carnival is going to show up. This month, we've got the new Tucson showing up. Next week, the new Santa Cruz is going to be announced worldwide. We're going to probably cover that video, do some of that. So a whole bunch of stuff coming up. Do me a favor, guys. Hit the subscribe button. We're going to talk about a lot of EVs, a lot of PHEVs. And if you're in Ontario and you want to buy an EV, I've worked with these dealers for years. This is Brantford Hyundai, Owen Sound Hyundai, and Brantford Kia. These are people I trust to sell you. We hear the biggest complaint with EV buyers, PHEV buyers, is they go to a dealer and the dealer doesn't know what they're talking about. Come to our dealers, we'll take care of you. Just reach out to me personally. I'll connect you with a sales team that I really trust that will take care of you like family. And that really helps support the channel. That's the best way you can support the channel. If you're in Ontario, just connect with our dealers and buy a car through us. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a great weekend. I will see you again on Monday. And like I said, a lot going on next week, so stay tuned. We'll see you then.